The Krillian warfleet emerged from hyperspace with the confidence of conquerors. Commander Zarthok watched the blue-green planet rotate slowly on his view screen, its continents dark and lifeless under the star's pale light. No electromagnetic signatures, no orbital defenses, no response to their arrival whatsoever. "Scan complete, Commander," his science officer reported, mandibles clicking with satisfaction. "The planet matches the ancient archives. This is Earth, homeworld of the extinct human species. Atmospheric composition, optimal. Water reserves, abundant. No technological signatures detected." Zarthok allowed himself a rare expression of pleasure. The Krillian Empire had searched for centuries for a world this perfect. And the humans, those legendary warmongers who had once terrorized this entire sector, were finally truly gone. "Deploy landing parties to all major landmasses," he ordered. "Begin colonization protocols. This world is ours." The first shuttles descended through Earth's atmosphere, passing over sprawling cities frozen in time. Massive structures of steel and glass stood like tombstones, their windows dark, their streets empty. Vegetation had reclaimed much of the surface, wrapping around buildings in green embraces. The Krillians found it beautiful, a dead civilization waiting to be replaced. Lieutenant Vexra led the first ground team into what their archives identified as New York. Her squad moved cautiously through the silent canyons of skyscrapers, weapons ready despite the obvious abandonment. Humanity's reputation still echoed through galactic history, even 1,000 years after their disappearance. "Sir, we found structures underground," one of her soldiers reported. "Massive facilities. They appear to be habitation modules?" Vexra descended into the subway system, following power conduits that impossibly still hummed with faint energy. The deeper they went, the more intact everything appeared. And then they found the doors, massive vault entrances sealed with technology that still functioned. "Get engineering down here," Vexra commanded, her confidence wavering. "I want these opened." It took 3 hours to bypass the locks. When the doors finally groaned open, a wave of cold air rushed out, carrying with it the unmistakable signature of cryo-suspension technology. Vexra's blood ran cold as her helmet lights illuminated row upon row of cylindrical pods stretching into the darkness. Thousands of them, tens of thousands, all showing active status indicators. "They're not dead," she whispered into her communicator. "Commander, the humans aren't dead. They're sleeping." Before Zarthok could respond, alarms began shrieking throughout the facility. Ancient systems, dormant for a millennium, suddenly roared to life. The pods began to hiss and vent, their seals breaking in synchronized sequence. Vexra stumbled backward as the first pod opened before her. The human who emerged was tall, taller than any Krillian, and moved with the stiffness of someone waking from a very long sleep. His eyes, still adjusting, found Vexra. For a moment there was only confusion, then recognition, then something far more terrifying. Cold, calculated fury. "Contact," he said in a voice rough from disuse, speaking into a wrist device. "We have contact. Unknown hostiles in Vault 7. All around them, humans were waking. Hundreds in this vault alone, and according to Vexra's scanner, there were dozens of these facilities across the planet, all showing the same activation sequence." On the orbital flagship, Zarthok watched his view screen in growing horror as the dark planet began to light up like a constellation. Cities flickered to life. Defense grids emerged from underground silos. Weapons platforms that had been disguised as ruins unfolded with mechanical precision. And from every vault, every shelter, every hidden facility came the same signal. Humanity was awake. "Sir, we're detecting massive energy buildups across the surface," his weapons officer stammered. "Hundreds of targeting locks on our fleet. These systems, they're more advanced than anything in our database." A transmission cut through their communications, the universal trade language spoken with an accent 1,000 years old. "Attention, Krillian vessels. This is Admiral Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have violated our territory during our great sleep. You have approximately 60 seconds to withdraw beyond the heliopause, or we will consider this an act of war." Zarthok's hands trembled on his command console. The great sleep? What are they talking about? His science officer's voice was barely a whisper as she read from the fragmentary archives. "Commander, the humans didn't go extinct. According to this, they detected something, a cosmic event, something that would sterilize all life in this sector. They couldn't run, so they She looked up, her eyes wide. They put their entire species to sleep, set their vaults to open after 1,000 years when it would be safe. 30 seconds. Admiral Chen's voice continued. I strongly advise you choose withdrawal. We've been asleep for a long time and we're really not in the mood for this. Sarthak thought of the legends, of the human wars that had consumed entire star systems, of their terrible creative violence, of their absolute refusal to surrender or be conquered. He thought of all this, and then he thought of his crew, his people, his family back home. All ships, he said quietly, prepare for immediate hyperspace jump. We're leaving. But Commander, the planet is not worth extinction. Zarthok roared. Now move. The Krillian fleet vanished into hyperspace with seconds to spare. Below on Earth, Admiral Chen watched them go from the command center that had waited a millennium to be needed again. Around her, humans stretched, yawned, and began the long process of reclaiming their world. Well, she said to her executive officer, that was easier than expected. They were smart, he replied. They remembered who we are. Or were, Chen corrected, looking out at the reawakening planet. We've been gone a long time. Maybe we can be better this time. Less terrifying. She paused, then smiled grimly. But let's make sure everyone still knows we could be terrifying if we needed to be. Across the galaxy, the message spread quickly. The humans weren't dead. They had only been sleeping. And now they were awake again.